Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Patrick L. Young back for another IPO video talking about the world of investments and markets, and I'm being ably aided and abetted this week by Toffee the bunny. Now Toffee and I have just been having a conversation and we decided at Toffee's behest that we should really talk about something related to rabbits and the world of investment. You may not think that there's instantly a correlation between this wonderfully fluffy creature and the ability to make investment profits. But in fact, out there, way beyond the world of fundamental analysis being, of course, the stuff that involves economists and economics and looking at the accounts and so on of companies, there's a thing called technical analysis. Technical analysis starts by looking at charts, diagrams of the prices of financial markets. And from technical analysis, as we work forward, you get many different kinds of analytics. One piece of analytics which I think is thoroughly fascinating and I've found to be actually incredibly useful in all forms of time frame, from the incredibly short term through to the very long term, involves none other than the reproductory impact of rabbits. I've talked a lot about economic growth in the past, and growth is good, and of course few can manage to grow their brood faster than indeed rabbits, to which end there's this wonderful mathematical formula, or at least mathematical progression built around, well, it was first published in 1202 AD, 1202 AD being a long time ago. In fact, if you think about it, they only started electing a Lord Mayor of the City of London in 1189, not even 15 years before then. But anyway, in 1202 AD, a man called Leonardo of Pisa, with the nickname of Fibonacci, wrote a book called the Liber Abaci. It's called the Book of Maths, Book of Sums. Now, we're not turning into a homeschooling lesson here, you understand, ladies and gentlemen, but for the purposes of this discussion, Liber Abaci has this example which gives us the Fibonacci series. The Fibonacci series being essentially posited upon the numbers of breeding pairs of rabbits that one would possess in a back garden, presuming unlimited garden, unlimited carrots, and indeed, well, that's pretty much taken for a given, unlimited amounts of lusty appetite, let's put it that way, on the parts of our bunnies. Now, the number progression itself is simple. It goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and in fact 55. And if you understand, that's the sum of the two previous numbers put together. What is more interesting is that if we take the ratios between the different numbers in the series, we get something quite interesting. So the ratio 0.618 rapidly emerges from the series, and that's a number known as the golden ratio. The golden ratio becomes very interesting because it's particularly common in the world of, for example, art and all things related to what one might perceive as being beauty. So Leonardo da Vinci and people like that, they were very, very much aware of this beautiful, what they called the divine proportion, when they were drawing. And certainly there's a lot of evidence that different elements of human beauty relate to this particular 0.618 ratio. But here's the interesting thing, and that's why I'm indebted to Toffee for reminding me and demanding that we produce this video now much earlier in our series than we previously planned. Get this, the Fibonacci ratios, 0.618 being the most famous. There's also things like 0.382, 1.618, 2.618, and so on and so forth. They all actually can play a role in the analysis of financial markets. So let's take a very, very simple example for you in order to keep Toffee happy here, because you can see Toffee's entirely restive and very excited about the idea of bringing these videos to you in the IPO video series this week as a guest star. Take a market that starts here and goes down to here. Well, we all know that markets don't tend to go in one straight line. They go and they retrace and they move all over the place. They oscillate effectively without going directly in a straight line at any time. So this market's going from here to here in one fairly continuous action. Therefore, we can expect that it's going to retrace somewhat. And there's the interesting point. Very frequently what we find is markets will retrace 38.2%, a Fibonacci ratio, and in fact more often even they will retrace something like 50% through to 61.8%, which is of course a Fibonacci ratio. And isn't it fascinating? It happens on the way up as well. You can find markets that will go back to a Fibonacci ratio and then they will start back on the merry trend that they were on previously. So thus, Fibonacci numbers can start to become something very interesting and very useful for the analysis of financial markets, for our investments, or for our trading from the very short term through to the very, very long term indeed. And that's why Toffee wanted me to bring this message to you today, in order that you could understand that while some might see toffee as merely being an incredibly cute object in order to calm you from being triggered about the worries of your portfolio, actually bunnies play a vital role in the world of investment. From the Fibonacci golden ratio toffee, myself, I'll bid you a good day, and I hope you have a great day in life and markets. My name is Patrick L. Young.